Please join channel here over at Subscribestar. So Star Wars, more diverse, no war, no blasters, just more vibrant diversity and no viewers. Call me Nostradamus in that prediction. So Disney, in case you didn't know, owns Star Wars. What a mistake that was, Mr. Lucas. What a soft little snowflake soy boy Lucas turned out to be. He got a little criticism on his movies, and he sold Star Wars for like $4 billion to Disney. And what did Disney do with it? Oh, they're talking about it 2015, right? Or whenever they bought it was earlier than that. Disney's going to knock it out of the park. You see what they've been doing with Pirates of the Caribbean, back in, I don't know, 2006 or something. What a great movie that was. Disney's going to do fantastic with Star Wars. They're going to bring it back to the old Star Wars. Yeah, how did that work out? Holy cow, what happened in 2015 with the first Star Wars movie? People are in the theater looking around like, what the F is this? It's just Star Wars. Is this the direction that Disney's going in? Oh, you bet your tight ass this is the direction. F Disney. It's all three movies are like that. So how well did Solo do? Oh, it lost money. Kind of weird that you have the Star Wars name recognition and you made I don't know, $300 million is what they spent for Solo, and plus $100 million in advertising, and you lost money on that. Maybe you want to change directions of Star Wars? Oh, hell no. We're going to accelerate. We're going to make these streaming shows that are also equally cancer. Anyway, so Disney owns Star Wars now, and maybe Star Was is more appropriate. Am I right? So they're making these big screen movies under the Star Wars name, but they don't look like Star Wars, of course. And future films are probably going to aim to just break even, and I think that's the best they can go for. If I had to guess, I would suspect that and the thing is, if the future Star Wars movies break even, they're gonna congratulate. They're gonna like wipe their brows and be so happy that the movie just broke even. So I suspect that they've lost most of their fan base, and they want to rebuild. They're going to have to rebuild a new generation of fans who want globalist propaganda, and that's like they're absolutely on board with that. Maybe there's enough kids out there who are, what is it, the Tumblr, Twitter type of kids. They have a shot with that Mary Sue girl. What's her name? I forget her real name. Daisy Ridley, the English girl who was in the last trilogy, the Super Jedi. She was like space Jesus Christ because of the success of Barbie that came out, and it was there was a female energy behind a movie that was just got to be the worst movie I've ever seen. That is going to make $1 billion. It's absolutely, that's the best marketing plan on earth, where you show the marketing of the movie and it's not the movie. And I said this when the marketing came out. I go, they're not really showing you anything with this marketing. And people saw the movie anyway. Like, women love this movie. Yeah, it's just first world echo chamber feminism. You're just hearing exactly what you want to hear. Look at all the evil white people in the movie. It's because it's a movie. It's because it's not really Los Angeles. There's no white people in Los Angeles, and there's certainly none who dress like 1980s. The Izod T-shirts or dress shirts, lizards with the like pastel. It's just like out of Miami Vice 1984. God, what a weird. Oh, hey, look, a blonde guy walks up to her on the beach and slaps her on the butt. And who's her co-star? Ryan Gosling. Like, well, that guy, Ryan Gosling would just kick that guy's ass. Ryan Gosling is very physically fit. No, you don't understand. This is Los Angeles. It's like these blonde-haired college frat boys from 1982. Like, have you seen Los Angeles? It's not Sweden. Oh my God, have you seen Sweden lately? Anyway, probably should have edited that part out. There's no editing on these videos. It's just a cell phone. So you got the success of Barbie, so you might be able to kind of market on that, cash in on that kind of market, which would still be an uphill battle because Barbie was about pretty women, just skinny, mostly skinny women, except for the 300-pound one, and the man who was dressed as a woman, who had a male voice that was. It was disturbing. The deeper we get into Weimar, like the more disturbing things get. It just the hairs on the back of your neck. The more you look around, you're like, oh, this is all actually happening, isn't it? Yeah. So Barbie was about a pretty woman in bright costumes and a lot of pink, like what was that Pretty Woman with Julia Roberts from, I don't know when that was, maybe 1990. It was a huge hit because it was just every girl's fantasy. Yeah, prostitute, it turns into a princess. Well, they played the prostitution aspect down, but it worked for, like two beautiful people and wealth, and it's just like, yeah, this is just the stupidest movie on earth. So Rey is a whole different character for a Star Wars movie. It's gonna be more militaristic. So their next goal would just be to do a much lower budget Star Wars and just try to keep the brand alive until somebody comes along and starts making good Star Wars movies again, which I honestly do not think that is going to happen. I think Disney is more than happy to go down and bankrupt Disney. They're like, I know it sounds crazy. You think you're describing a company like it's a cult. Yes, I am. Companies don't necessarily last forever. There's booms and busts, and they ride cycles. And I think Disney's on its way out. Disney also has a streaming service with various Star Wars shows that nobody watches because they also don't look like Star Wars. Nazi says what? They look like BlackRock's Larry Fink wrote them for diversity points. So now they have another Star Wars streaming show that nobody will watch called The Acolyte. And here's how they're selling it. It's diverse and it doesn't have blasters. You might ask, well, is it good? It's diverse. It doesn't have to be good. If you criticize a diverse film, you're basically, a wrong thinker. Oh, good luck with that. They seem to think diversity is a selling point. It's not. It's just a description. M&Ms are diverse from Skittles. It's to a cultural Bolshevik, it's a critical element to their propaganda to erase the very people who created the IP in the first place, whether it's Star Wars or Lord of the Rings or Willow or The Witcher or all the other stuff that comes out. Now you understand, evil Englishmen wrote these stories. Yeah, then why don't you write your own? Because we can't. We're not as good as those evil Englishmen who are just like some kind of Ubermensch writing gods. You could try to write your own stories. I mean, they try. It would just be like propaganda right from the start. Anyway, so they erase and disrespect the fan base that wanted a curative story and not a transformative one, which, keep in mind, the fan base is the customer base. Calling them fans is better to think of them as customers. Their marketing advertisement is three different people, Asian, I guess, Latin, and Black. So they think they're going to get all three of those markets plus the old fan base. That's just not how humans work. Asians prefer to see Asians, Latin, Black, white. That's the real world. People want to see themselves and their tribe's stories, even if it's in a silly fictional proxy as, something as nonsense as a Star Wars movie. This is haram for Disney because they're globalists who have an agenda. I can prove it with a simple thought experiment that is also not politically correct. Take this show, now swap out the non-Euro-based characters for Euro-based characters, perhaps blonde-haired, blue-eyed. Put them side by side. Which one will sell better? The original Star Wars worked because the people looked like they could be a natural, organic tribe together. They were fighting for each other. This works on your subconscious, where you vibe with it. It resonates with you. This doesn't resonate with you because you know what you're seeing is not organic. And if it's not organic, it's propaganda. Then you have to look at Disney and the people making this. You go like, why is this $150 billion company pushing propaganda? Oh, and why are you talking about selling off your subsidiary brands, ABC and Fox and a bunch of others? Is that from a position of strength or weakness? Because in the real world, different tribes don't get along at all. People want to be around their own kind. But Bolsheviks want you cut off and rootless, so you're easily manipulated by outside forces. And of course, they're lizards who are willing to lose money to push this brainwashing, this mental soy slop. Can you just make a Star Wars show look like the original 77 Star Wars with our four fair protagonists, Luke, Han, Leia, and Obi-Wan, and the walking carpet? What are you, like Hugo Boss? Yeah, because we want to follow in the theme, Curative, of the original story. That's basically the same thing. It's a totally fair and reasonable assessment of the situation. So sans straw man, can we just get one Star Wars show where the good guys are blonde? Like, make it more look like the original 77 Star Wars. No, because the Austrian corporal had blonde hair. No, he had black hair. Not everything has to be framed by this 80-year-old war. But in their mind, it does. I mean, once you put it through that overlay lens of blonde man bad in every modern storyteller, or blonde and red hair bad, once you understand that, you look at everything they're making, that makes sense. So Andor, it's the best Star Wars movie that nobody watched. That's what the producer said about it. I looked at him so the good guys are this ragtag mixed Bolshevik found family group, and the bad guys all have English accents. In fact, the first 5 minutes of the movie, I think the Spanish or the French guy, whatever, deletes two evil blonde men. Like that's in the first, because they're, of course, it's like a Southern analogy, because Hollywood knows that Hollywood has been brainwashing people to think like everyone in the South has pickup trucks and they go to bars and they just drive around looking to commit hate crimes. Like, that's not real. Like, not in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, but Hollywood has said it for the past 50 years. So then they put an analogy to it in Star Wars, and like that was that first 10-minute scene of the Acolyte was, or Star Wars was that scene where the two evil, pickup truck with the stars and bars equivalent. It's like all this stuff works on your subconscious, and once you see it, you're like, oh, this is so shallow. This is so obvious. How? But the thing is, it does, obviously it's not working on people's subconscious, because they see these shows like, this is just something to do with your hatred of the British and something about colonialism, and like that was a long time ago. Nobody cares about that. It's not good storytelling because it's propaganda. It's literally propaganda. If you're not telling organic stories, you're just making propaganda. The reason these original Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and Star Wars worked because it was organic storytelling. Tribalism, nationalism, family-based, blood-based stuff. That's all. And far-right dog whistles. I realize like almost all of human history is in accord with that belief. This new globalist push is not in accord with human history. It's like less than 1% of humanity is this newfound Bolshevik push for Hollywood storytelling. Hugo Boss says what? Like, yeah, that's their whole friggin' worldview. Anyway, there's another show you'll love it, because it's all laser swords. So you're going to be decapitating people, cutting people in half, removing limbs just effortlessly with these laser swords, instead of using blasters, because it's a Second Amendment reference. They for some reason the left wing just wants the government and the police to be armed. The whole goal of the Second Amendment was to stop tyranny, because we the Biden going, we have drones and we can carpet bomb your whole neighborhood. It's like, yeah, tell it to the Vietnamese, tell it to the Afghanis, tell it to, yeah. I mean, everyone. I better not go too much further than that. It's weird. It's weird when your own president threatens to F-16 neighborhoods. So like, you're gonna drop what, like, fuel air bombs on whole neighborhoods and just like firebomb neighborhoods to get one person with a 308 hidden away? Weird flex for the president to come out there and say that. Yeah, the Second Amendment, it's for tyranny. Like, that, right? Government? Apparently they don't know that. What weird days we're living in. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. See you guys on the next episode.